Hi, welcome to this bonus episode. In today's lesson, we are going to be exploring your pelvis. We're going to be exploring where it naturally wants to sit when we are laying on the mat, pelvic tilting, bridging, and then as we increase the challenge of movement, what happens to our pelvis? And how does that affect where our ribs are sitting, how we're breathing? So I thought this was really important because I know that there's a lot of talk about the neutral pelvis. What I'm really conscious of is just making you aware of it, because I don't want you to ever be worried about moving from a particular pelvic position when you're in class with me or when you're online. I want you to just be aware rather than, oh, am I in a natural pelvic position? Maybe it's unsafe to move from here. Wait, how do I shift it? Where am I at? Wow, now I've lost my place in space, right? So being afraid to move is just what I don't want. I want you to build that body awareness between your brain and your body and develop this really beautiful relationship where you're in control of your body. And if you're not in your neutral pelvic position when you're doing a double leg lower, that's okay. And through doing this lesson, you will understand that, oh, I know that my pelvis is dipped, but I'm still doing it and I'm still breathing and it's okay. All right. So that's my why in dropping this. Sometimes it takes me a little bit to get the whys out, but I feel really clear in knowing the importance of having this as a bonus episode, because as we fly through these lessons this season, it's just something that is really important. Whether you're standing, laying, or sitting, where is your place in space? And this is just a small bit of information that may really help with you growing in confidence in moving and developing strength and living your best life. So let's get into the lesson. Props today. I've got ankle weights on. You don't need to have them on if you're not feeling up to it. I have 2 kilo weights here. Again, just optional. We're going to be using the ball for a little bit of it and just blocks when we're in the quadruped. Just if your wrists are a little bit compromised, a bit sore, then the blocks are just going to be a good option there. Okay, let's get into it. Sitting on the mat, legs are bent, ball in between those knees. We'll start with those hands underneath those thighs and just find a tall spine here. Take an inhale and then exhale, pressing into that ball, looking down at your mat, extending those arms. And inhale and exhale, pressing those legs together, squeezing that ball. Inhale, exhale. Now what you might realize that you're doing is pelvic tilting in a sitting position. We kind of think we're just rolling back on that lower spine, all right? So it's really important that you understand that right now, this is a pelvic tilt. And we're going to be using our wheel, which we talked about in a previous lesson, and really understanding that it's a wheel that you can turn, all right? So let's go again. You might be already thinking about that wheel. Extend and maybe bringing those arms forward and reaching to come back to sitting. One more here. Keep those arms extended. Bring those shoulders back. Find that wrapping sensation. Exhale, rolling down. And then inhale, coming back onto those sit bones. We're going to come all the way back now. So just maybe move forward a little. Bring my weights back with me. And let's roll all the way down now. So squeezing those knees, coming down and laying down on that mat. Let's just work with some pelvic tilts here just to find our pelvis, that neutral pelvic position laying on the mat. So if you're unsure where your neutral spine is, we'll leave the ball in. Let's take an inhale, noisy birds, Tilt that pelvis towards the heel. So if you need more feedback, place your hands on your hips and let's bring those hips forward, tilt those hips forward towards your heels. You can squeeze that ball. Then exhale, come all the way back. Bring that pelvis back towards your rib cage. So inhaling, if that ball's not working for you, you can take it out. And then exhaling. Inhaling, you can bring your arms back down. So it takes a little bit, especially if you haven't pelvic tilted for a while. And then coming back, just halfway between. Just find where your spine and your pelvis just wants to rest naturally without effort. That is your neutral pelvic position. Walk your fingertips down. Take an inhale here. Relax the sternum. Maybe take your right hand and on your exhale, just bring that sternum down. Always a really nice proprioceptive cue that you can use. Hand back on. Let's go with a pelvic tilt to a bridge here. Exhale, press evenly with those hands and those feet. Pelvis tilting back towards your rib cage. And then start winding that spine up to the top. Take an inhale and coming back down. Let's take the ball for the next one. Place it in between those knees. You might not have taken it out of the knees, which is all good. And we go again. Exhale, pressing with both hands, both feet. Bring that pelvis back and lift, peeling the spine away from the mat. Now, when you get to the top here, I want you to take an inhale and see if that lifts you higher. And now I want you to take an exhale and find some softness in your torso. Find softness in your sternum. Exhale. And a little tuck in that pelvis. So it's like a lift on the inhale, and then it settles on the exhale. And bring those arms up on the next inhale. And maybe they come all the way over. Exhale, rolling back down through that pelvis. Back to your neutral pelvic position. Here we go. It really is a neutral spine and a neutral pelvis because we know that when you're in your neutral spine position, you do have this curve in that lower lumbar area, right? So we're not pressing down on that mat. So keep that little gap here. So just like move your hands towards that area. So know that that's safe. That is a safe place for your body to be. We go one more time here. Squeeze on that ball. Press with your hands and feet. Lift, peel it away. Looking out over your knees. Inhale, lift higher. Exhale, settle. Press. Bring those arms up. And maybe they come over, maybe not. Wind that spine down with control. Arms back. Bring those knees in. Have a rock from side to side. Let's do some single leg lifts here. Place your hands on your pelvis here. And just do a little bit of tilting. Find your place in space. Bring that awareness. Find your neutral position. Hands back down. And let's bring that left leg up. And you'll feel this. If you have your ankle weights on, you're really loading up the core here. So in tabletop, we're thinking about those heels being in line with those knees. So if you have a mirror in front of you, you can get a good sense of where your place is in space. Maybe you need an exhale here and just let that sternum soften, keeping your pelvis in that nice neutral position, keeping that curve, space in that lower lumbar. On that inhale, bringing that left leg down towards the mat, and then exhaling, knee comes back over your hip. You can see here that I'm reaching the toe away rather than dropping down. So this is something that I do see in class, and that's okay because your body is doing that because it's searching for safety here. So it's like keeping everything close to your body. Can you see that? So what you can do in your single leg lowers to work on that hinging action in that leg is you can hold one of your legs and then it gives a little bit more safety for the opposite leg in feeling like you can reach away rather than just letting that toe drop. So we've reached the toe away and we're holding here. You can lengthen those arms. The right knee is over that right hip. And we get more of a sense of that hinge, right? And we put the two legs together. Let's go a double leg here. Again, it can be quite difficult to keep that neutral pelvic position. It's quite easy to lose because we want to be reaching those toes away and then exhaling back up. So we inhale to lower and exhale up. For practice in this position, take those hands underneath your thighs and you can press those hands into those thighs and guide your toes down. And that kind of gets that pattern, the shape going for your body. And then when you feel confident, then you can take those hands away and know that you're working in that hinging motion. If you do feel like that lower spine is coming down into the mat and you feel a bit of gripping and a bit of bracing happening, and could be restricting your breath as well. So when my lower spine drops in and I'm bringing those toes down, I can really feel that it's harder to exhale. Therefore, maybe take the feet down and just work single leg each time. So single leg left and single leg right. Once you're confidently doing your double leg lower, you can add a weight to it. So I've got my 2 kilos here. Legs up to tabletop. Take those arms up, hands in line with your shoulders, squeezing those knees together. Bring those heels down in line with your knees and bring the toes down. And as they come up, drawing those elbows down towards the mat. We go for 6 here. Exhale through your mouth. 3, 2, and 1.